profile modeling using curves. In this video you will create some alternative detail, convert mesh objects into curve objects, then use two curves to create geometry, and then use those two curves to create geometry, one controlling the profile, the other a path. We'll see that this is great for more accurate path following. So let's hop straight on over into Blender. Okay, so we're back over in Blender, and the first thing before we move on to the curves, I noticed when spinning around my model that it looked a bit odd at the top here, and when I went all the way around I saw that I've got crossed over geometry. Oops, I think when I was scaling I've inadvertently managed to push the model through itself. Now whether or not that's going to have a massive impact on the end of production, it probably will, so now I've spotted that mistake I will have to go back and correct that. Make sure you check your models over. Make sure that you haven't pushed any geometry through itself. I didn't spin round, so I didn't see it. I was just looking from the area that looked good, unfortunately. But there we go. So let's move on to curves themselves. So first of all, I'm going to select this object, the window frame that we've made, and I'm going to duplicate it because I'm going to use the same profile that I've already created to generate the next curve. I'm then going to hide the original window frame, hop into here, and I'm going to call this window frame profile curve for the moment, so I know exactly what it is. Once I've done that, I'm going to hop into edit mode and remove all the unnecessary geometry. Now you can limit vertices to visible if you want to with the toggle on the 3D editor header. I do prefer using the wireframe mode because then it really is explicit that you're going to be able to select items through your model. I'm going to go here and grab, and we can see the mess at the top there, I'm going to go and grab these top vertices here and delete those, and then I'm going to grab the ones down here as well and get rid of those, and that leaves me with the profile itself. But this is a mesh profile at the moment, so what we can do is hop into object mode and go to object and convert, and that's right at the top here, convert to curve, and obviously convert to curve, yes, so curve from mesh. And here we have Alt C just to remind you what that is. So now it is a curve object. I do not want to keep the original in this case, so I'm going to leave that unticked, and that will remember the last setting you had. So if I had kept one before, then it would still be there. The next thing that I want to do is generate a curve. Now I could go through creating a curve and lifting it up and through. Now one of the things that you can do is obviously duplicate this edge that runs around here and use that as a curve. So let's go and try that now. Let's go ahead and go to the appropriate model. Hide the other one as well from the scene, or it's done that automatically, it's on a different layer. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into edit mode, select the edges we want to be used for a path, which are these outer ones here. Once those are selected, we're going to duplicate them, we're going to separate them, and there we go, we've got here, and I'm going to call this, I suppose I should call it window frame path, because that's what it's going to become. Now in object mode I can use Alt and C and once again convert from a mesh to a curve. And again I don't want to keep the original. So let's go and see how this works out. So we need to give the path a bevel to go around. So whilst the path is selected, we can hit the curve data, and down here we can bevel it around a particular object, and in this case we can use the profile curve. There we go, we end up with a very similar curve as we did before. If I hop out of wireframe, aha, you will see here that the normals are in fact the wrong way around. Now we're not going to deal with that right at this moment. I will just have a quick look around the rest of the model first before sorting those out. Let's just check that that's right. Does that fit the curve? It doesn't look quite right in the middle. Is something missing? Okay. So when I selected the outline originally from the window frame, it looks like I've missed a bit. It hasn't come back out here at all. And it should have done, or is it inside the model? Okay, so there is a rotation going on here. Now it's a rotation of the path itself. Even though it's a line in 3D space, it has rotation. So what we can do is hop into the path's rotation. So going to go into edit mode for the path itself, and we can see it's there. I'm going to select all of them and change the mean tilt, which you can see here over in the properties panel of the 3D editor. And that will twist it along that path. It looks kind of funky, obviously, if you keep going round and round and round. If I hop out of wireframe mode, we can see that as we tilt that round, it then appears the right way. So at this point, I think it's going to be minus 90 to put it in the right place. No more than that. Oh, that's minus. Didn't type the right number in. Is it minus 90? No, that looks wrong. Let's try 90. That looks right. And of course, at this point, if we wanted something the other side, which we haven't done yet, if I wanted something the other side, I could apply a mirror modifier. Now, I have in this do I have the mirror plane? Was that the doorway? I don't seem to have a mirror plane here, so I'm just going to try mirroring around. Nope, none of these options are going to be good enough, so I'd have to create an empty mirror around that. I'm not going to do that at the moment, but there we go. That's a nice and simple path. The normals are the wrong way around, and that will be generated from this profile curve itself. That means the normals of this curve are in fact the wrong way around, so we can sort that out now. Now we can convert this to a mesh object and flip the normals. We know how to do that. However, we can also change the direction that this curve is being generated, and it's the profile one that's causing this normal inflection. And we might not want to remove the curve object from the actual blend file for various reasons. So in this case, we can flip those by selecting all of the points along the curve, the profile curve, and then go to curve, segment and switch direction, and there we go, that has been reflected. Of course, at this point we can play with the resolution of the curve, so we've got a couple of resolution points here. We've got the one that follows it round, and we can't really make that any sharper than it already is without manually editing it, and we've got the profile itself. So we can go in here and change the preview for both of those. It doesn't get any better by changing the profile curve because it's already got as many segments as it needs. And the window path, well, let's just try changing that, and surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, it doesn't make a difference either. And that's because the path is fixed at certain points, so there is no bend, so changing the resolution doesn't matter. However, turning smooth shading on can help it look much better. Brilliant! And of course, it's time for a challenge. I would like you to create some curve-driven geometry. Try using a beveled curve on your other models. And remember to share your work in the discussions. Pause the video now and give that a go. Okay guys, welcome back. Let's hop straight back over into Blender. So I'm just going to make sure I've saved my work here. So I'm going to go F5 save, and then I'm going to go to my door and demonstrate a single thing on the door. So I'm going to copy the archway and duplicate of that, perfect, and name it archway. This is going to be profile. And we'll convert that to a curve in a moment. Now I'm going to do the LOD door as well and select, excellent, I can just select the edge loop there, it's got all of the information I need, yep, so let's duplicate that, separate that, and there we go, we have it down here, and I'm going to call that archway path. Okay, so now that we've got the archway path and the archway profile, we need to sort out the profile itself, so it is an actual just a single profile rather than the entire work. So let's pop in, and of course it's mirrored, so this is going to be even quicker. We can just select those there. If I hop into wireframe, it'll make it easier to select everything. X for delete and delete the vertices. Okay, so let's hide away the front door archway that we've created. There we go, and we should now be able to convert that. Oh, there's one the other side as well. That is the mirror modifier. I'm going to hide that to prevent myself getting confused. Or in fact, in this case, I can just remove it altogether. Okay, so now I've got that. I'm going to leave the subsurface modifier hidden for the moment. I'm just going to see how much of a difference that can well. So I've got my profile ready. Let's go ahead and convert that into a curve, and the same with the archway path as well. So now those two items are done, we can go straight into the path, curve data, scroll down to the bevel object and select the archway profile. Now, is it the right way around? And are the normals the right way? Normals are the wrong way, but this time the archway itself has actually been generated the right way around, which saves me a lot of time faffing. The only thing I need to do here is go to the profile itself and go to edit mode, curve, segments, switch direction, and that is sorted. It's gone all the way over. Let's just see if the surface division makes any difference whatsoever. I don't think it will. So let's go to the path itself, add a subsurface. Oh, it's made quite a bit of difference. That helps smooth out the archway really nicely. Pleasant surprise there. Of course, this one's actually got the mirror object in, so I can go one step further on this particular model and mirror it around my mirror point. And now he says it needs to be on the y-axis that we do that, not the x. Okay, and there we go. We've got that in roughly the right place. Now it looks like, okay, the mirror object is not really in the right place for doing this. It needs to be in the middle of the door itself. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the mirror, and in its location, transform on the properties. I think it's going to have to be minus 0.1, its location. So minus 0.1. There we go. Now the archway is on both sides of the door. Now, interestingly here is that there's a little bit of a dent here where it's being constructed, but that's okay. That adds to the detail in the door itself. That is coming along really well. How are your models coming along? I'd love to see them. Please share them in the discussion so everybody can see what you're up to and your designs. If you're going for an alternative style, I love seeing those as well. If you're not following along with the Gothic church, what are you doing? I can't wait to see it. So remember to share them in the discussions, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.